if you're around crime your whole life, you're just like, whoa, don't look, don't say anything, or whatever. But in some areas, people actually still want to protect their communities. So they want that. They want that clash. They need that clash to create the chaos, to get the troops in the stores, to get your digital rationing cards out. Show ID before you go in the store. Prove your funds before you get in the store. They need it. That's all part of the plan. And they're also telling you which banks are going to close in 2023. HSBC, Lloyds, and Barclays, right along with Credit Suisse. Now, your ability to bank is also going to be affected. Where are you going to go to bank? Hey, and welcome back for the second segment here. David Dubine, your host, Mini Ice Age Conversations, Brighteon TV. Thank you for letting me speak freely here. Before the break, we were talking about CBDCs and the International Monetary Fund unveiling its new UMU, unit of monetary, whatever you want to, monetary unit. Could they think of a better name? Okay, so we're going to roll through what is coming at the same time. We're coming into the chaos phase, if you haven't noticed. They need the chaos phase to now escape. See, what has happened over these last 2 or 3 years during COVID time, when you were told there were shortages, from my information, that was a redistribution of supply chains to send continuity of government supplies into their last locations for their last years of preparation. We've reached that point. Now the chaos begins so they can make their speedy escape. It's like every, suspense movie or army movie or shoot 'em up movie you've ever seen. They always have something blow up as a distraction, so then they run over there and get in whatever they're trying to break into. It's the same. They're going to blow it up. The economy, the supply chains, and everything's going to be so worried about just daily existence, companies, people, families, that they're going to escape the little rats into their underground chambers and ride out the natural calamities, or it's just a cycle. It's come here before. It's been around. We've been through this many a time. The reset. Why are the legends always about fires in the skies and people emerging from underground again? Well, these same resets have occurred on a regular pattern before, and that's the key. Like the elite, they had the cycles understood through the last 500 years of pillaging the planet. You got all the manuscripts, you understand the codices, you got all the stelae, you understood the cycle from start to finish. 26,000 years, 2 cycles, 52,000 years. You have to run through it twice to know it's a cycle. The first time you would have the information, the second time you would know, oh, it's coming again. We're talking about plasma current flows or solar winds. A reduction in that would also affect the magnetosphere of our planet and our electromagnetic field as such, meaning more earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, atmospheric cavitation and disturbances, and that's what we're seeing right now. It's all about magnetic interlocking with the sun that is now stepping down and changing its frequency. So we're with the sun, 1.2 million times larger than Earth. The chaos phase is here, but they're not going to let it go to zero. See, that would be foolish to let everything completely collapse before you try to reassemble it from ashes, literally. There's going to be some vestige of tech left that will allow the world to trade and transact during this time. No nation will be spared, but an international monetary system might still have some bastions and pockets. Because you got to look back. I'm trying to equate this to, say, the Younger Dryas era. The 2023 financial crisis has begun. According to Bloomberg, the missing catalyst is here, with gold now forecast to surpass $3,000 an ounce as a worst-case scenario. The economic hurricane J.B. Diamond warned of is here. Call the proud Americans at the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Remember, Patriot Gold Group offers the no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. Keep in mind, Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold IRA dealer 6 years in a row. That's 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. Cometary impact on the ice sheet. We get these massive plumes of, clouds coming up that encircle the planet for decades, plural. There were survivor pockets, mainly in Africa and in the other side of the planet, way at the bottom. But there were pockets of survivors around, even though that was such a cataclysm, though. The biggest ones to date that is closest in. Anything that we've ever seen since, even the Toba eruption 77,000 years ago, which was a VEI 8 plus, maybe VEI 9, is nothing in comparison to what the Younger Dryas was. They're looking at it the same way. Pockets of people will survive somewhere, somehow. If they have access to this digital thingamajiggy, then they still have control of the world's finance. So again, we're going to run through DCMA. This is the Digital Currency Monetary Authority. Notice that they have every flag there. This is truly a one world currency that we're seeing unveiled April 10th. And it's interesting, April 10th, Jupiter, Sun, and Earth in a perfect line. That is the same day the volcano erupted Shivalush in Russia, and the same day that the International Monetary Fund unveiled their new digital currency. So there had to have been something esoteric in the stars, the moons, the patterns of the planets for them to do that specific day. But electromagnetically, there was a coupling, which is verified now by these volcanic eruptions. So there's too many coincidences on the day that that happened that, you know, things were unveiled here. So let's go look at the DCMA. I'm going to read it for you. World leader in the advocacy of digital currency monetary policy for governments and central banks, commercial and retail banks, and other financial institutions. Self-appointed, like we just made our own organization. Why don't I call it David's Digital Currency Money? I'm going to be in control of all the banks. I'll just put another D in front of it. Okay, and they just made it up. That's what they did. They just made it up. And then the UMU, Universal Monetary Unit, it's going to be called a Unicoin. These will be your new lexicon. You'll start to hear these more and more. DCMA and UMU, Unicoin. So I actually went there because I'm pretty familiar with cryptocurrency. I actually did a show a couple weeks ago showing you the blueprint on how they were going to use Hashgraph and Quant as the base layering to scale everything else, including XRP, which they reference to be used for this as well, distributed ledger settlement. Lo and behold, we are here again. The best monetary rates worldwide. You have to sign up for it. I encourage everybody to take a look at the site. It's just umucash.com. Take a look at it. You got to register for it. Get in the back door. I downloaded the white paper. I still haven't read it yet. Want to get in there and see what they're offering or enslaving with. But the UMU rates are already here. It includes every single country on the planet. There's not one that's not there. Because, you know, I had traveled in Africa before, and there were not cross-swap rates between, let's say, Uganda and, where else did we go? Angola. Cross-swap rates, but you didn't have it. You had to use dollars or something in between. But here it gives you the option to cross-swap between the currencies using a base rate off the UMU, which is interesting. And down in Zimbabwe, that runaway event down there too. So the UMU coin itself is going to be pegged as the new world stable coin. That's why they're demonizing all the stable coins across the planet. That's why they're shutting down every crypto bank across the planet right now. I originally thought Circle was going to be the stable coin used in the rollout of setting up a new growth zone across North Africa and the Sahel, because there were going to be workers from every single nation coming to work and set up that new agricultural area. They would need to be paid in something that could be sent digitally, and there was no dollar, quote unquote, but Circle was there. And I thought Circle, along with Algorand, was involved with that. But lo and behold, it comes out to be the Unicoin is going to be the same one, equal around the planet digital currency stablecoin that will be accepted anywhere for any worker from any country, can wire their money home. Now, again, you know, we get into this whole debacle of, can they turn your money off at any time they want to? The answer is going to be yes. So let's say you're a worker and you head up to, say, Chad, and you're up there for 2 years working away from your family. You got all these digital credits. You try to send them home, but you said something bad about the government, and then they lock all your funds, so you can't really send your money back. Something like this. So everybody's going to have to be on their best behavior to enter the system. And people like me, a show like this would get me turned off of the system. I guarantee you it would. This innocuous and light of a conversation would have repercussions in the new system. And if you don't think otherwise, I'm sorry, you just need to pop that balloon and come back down to earth for a moment again. So to have all the rates already set for the official rates on a one-to-one exchange, the stablecoin is a little unnerving for me how fast this has unveiled itself. From zero to, we got a world stablecoin, a one world currency, in a flash. Now, what's also interesting is Argentina. They are down so significantly on their crop production. This was anticipated anyway from the atmospheric disturbances. Uruguay is down, Australia is down, Indonesia is mucked up in rain. Their agriculture, some of the plantations up there with the palm oil are struggling. There's a huge amount of precipitation problems. Suriname also, and then if we go across the equator, across the entire planet, all the way from like Ghana, Togo, Benin, these massive floods, Nigeria, just wiping out crop production. And then if you get down into Guyana and places in Venezuela, it's like a super flood, just like we saw in Florida, 25 inches of rain in 7 hours. Significant crop production damage across the entire planet, mainly focused on equator down further southern hemisphere. So they're starting their own off-chain, well above market dollar for agricultural trade. It's called the Aggro Dollar, but the true name is Soy Dollar 3. They've already tried this program 2 times before, although the mistake they made was making it at parity with the exchange rate. And once they locked it, their inflation just kept running up and up and up. I think they're at 103% per year now, which means prices double every year. So they're starting the new dollar at well above, so then inflation will run up and catch that. So they're starting their own new dollar here, just for ag trade in the country. It's outside the regular exchange rate mechanisms. It's outside the regular reserve currency status. It's its own new peg. They really issued their own new stable coin for trading against that can be cashed, you or I, or the traders themselves, participants in the agricultural space. They issued their own stable coin for this, which shows you the power of blockchain, but it also can be enslaving like the World Bank is doing it. So 280 to 300, let's take a look there. 280 to 300 is what they're looking at for the peso rate, but the peso rate currently is 213. So you see they've already learned from their past mistakes to try to run it up. So if it goes to 280, they got 6 months in here at 100%. 50 more on top of that, it'll bring us up around 263, 270. Yeah, that's about right. So they knew their own inflation rate at 100% would buy them 6 months, and that'll take them through the trading year. And again, they'll have to revalue again once more. Now, they've done the same thing for the wine peso here, too, the wine dollar. So everything in the wine sector in Argentina, 20% reduced. So if you like wine, your wine price is going to go up. And Argentinian wines, I'm a fan. I really do like Argentinian wine, Chilean wines, too. They lost 50% of all their crops this year. Now, the wine was, that's a higher elevation. It's a little bit different climate. It's not as impacted as just straight grain fields for the soy and the wheat. But, if you're looking at grain crops, 50% reduction in Argentina. That's why they need this special reserve status dollars. So they've created 2 stable coins for 2 agricultural purposes. Now, this is the way it should be used, to give the ag people and the traders an advantage to be able to still make a living and still go out and plant your food, not to enslave you with a stable coin. So I do like the way that Argentina has taken the bull by the horns, no pun intended, a lot of cattle ranching down there. But the way that they took that and actually real world use case for our agriculture, that's what we need. Good use of it. Now, that's the chaos phase sort of on the monetary side, and we could see gold and silver running away. I cannot believe it's up. You can't touch a maple leaf for under like $35 now. Can't touch any Eagles, American Eagles. I'm talking silver here for $45, $46. Even the Philharmonics are running $33 now. Really, the silver is it's starting to run now. It's going to continue to go up, creeping up incrementally here. There might be a pullback here or there, but the more people understand they need silver to protect wealth and pay your property taxes in the future, the more that is going to be wanted. And once BRICS gets a roll in and they really do back their currency by gold, then that price is definitely not going to stay at 2,000, going to go much higher. Personal opinion, not financial advice. Now, chaos needs to be brought into the U.S., and so store closures are coming next. Amazon, your deliveries, your access to goods is going to be curtailed. Just understand that we are in the last phase of anything imported into the U.S. If you don't get it now, by next year, you're not going to get it, or it's going to be 3, 4, 5 times more expensive at the minimum, because even the ports are closing and having strikes and reduced cargo, and China doesn't want to send things over any longer because we're at a adversarial, agitated, near war state with them. They're just cutting off everything. So there's going to be a real constriction for goods coming into America. Amazon in itself is reducing its footprint. See, all these were slated to create thousands of jobs. These on dots on the map here. These are being pulled back. And I was told a couple of years ago by somebody like, whoa, billionaire, an actual billionaire, was telling me, when they stop giving you free shipping in Amazon, that is the marker when the chaos or the beginning of the collapse starts. And here, lo and behold, just last week, they're saying they're closing all these warehouses. And they're going to start to charge for some shipping, which is very close to not 100% of full, you buy, you pay everything for shipping, but it's nudging toward that, way closer than anything we've seen so far. So think about this. All these Amazon things, they close. So where are you going to get your goods from? Well, you're going to need to go to your local store. And Walmart's closing amok everywhere, are they not? And this is the chaos. So think about all the mom and pop businesses getting closed. They're all been diluted, flash mobbing. They made the conditions of such that mom and pop businesses are out of business. COVID especially, bam, just crushed them all. Now we got the bigs that are closing, mainly in low-income, high-crime neighborhoods and areas. Okay, so you got massive amounts of retailers closing. If I need stuff and I'm in a low-income part of town, where am I going to go? I'm going to drive up to the nice part of town. But you know how that's going to work out, like oil and water. They want the chaos. They want that to overflow and create fights and disturbances. And you know, if you're around crime your whole life, you're just like, whoa, don't look, don't say anything, or whatever. But in some areas, people actually still want to protect their communities. So they want that. They want that clash. They need that clash to create the chaos, to get the troops in the stores, to get your digital rationing cards out. Show ID before you go in the store. Prove your funds before you get in the store. They need it. That's all part of the plan. And they're also telling you which banks are going to close in 2023. HSBC, Lloyds, and Barclays, right along with Credit Suisse. Now, your ability to bank is also going to be affected. Where are you going to go to bank? If your regional bank's out of business, oh, you're going to be left to JP Morgan, Bank of America, and what other shysters are out there? I guess so. Zillow's given us a little lift off and hint, wink, wink, where things are going to go. So the green is a 10% increase in property values. By the way, I got smacked with a much bigger assessment here in Tennessee. Our prices went up tremendously. I was like, are you kidding me? That? What? All right. Red is the declines, 10%. Now, this is November 2022 to 23. Now, notice November 23, and then we just jump back to September 23. September 22 to 23, the dark blue is only at 5%. So wait a second. You're going from 5% to 10% jump in a 2-month period. What do they know that we don't? That's absurd. 10% increase prices on land, homes in a single year? That's insane. Up from 5%, which was insane itself. Generally, you're looking at a 1 to 2, 3% on outstanding markets for real estate values rising, not 5, not 10%. So again, the bigs, they all understand something hyperinflationary this way come. You don't get 10% rises on average through the entire scape of real estate unless something big is planned. I just do simple math. And something big being planned. Simple math, 2 planes, 3 buildings. What did this bring in for us? Look at the junctures and the stages of pre-positioning assets over the last 30 years. Now to leave us with something a little happier here. Oh, and by the way, I did, the COVID thing also has reduced all those 24-hour stores. Remember, all Walmarts and CVS's and anything used to be 24-hour stores. Those hours have greatly been reduced down to like what, 8 hours, 10 hours now, some places. So the availability for you to go at any time, day or night, has also been slashed. Like this is a soft curfew for everyone. If all your supermarkets are closed and your drugstores are closed and everything's closed by 8 o'clock, who are the people on the streets? You don't really have to call a curfew. If there's nothing out open, most people would stay home anyway. Very easy to track 20 times less traffic on the road than it would be to have all the stores open and people going about their business all the time. Now to bring in something positive here, the moon over the last 28 days. It's pretty interesting how it does that figure. It's a cycle also. The cycle of civilization has been timed out. Why did and again, I'll ask the simplest of questions. Why has all of this occurred? They knew the cycle was inbound with my channel Adapt 2030. I've been following it since 2015, 16, and it was really starting to show around 2018, the amplification 10x on old records, 5x's. It really was showing that this is it. We've entered a new phase of climate. Grand solar minimums onsetting, disturbances will affect crop production. Well, then we had the 2019 repo crisis, where there needed to be an excuse to produce the most amount of money ever produced in human history without anybody blinking an eye. COVID. Well, that gave enough chance to buy everything up, fill the supply chains full of goods. Not for me and you, there were shortages, but to send everything underground for continuity of government. Stall for a couple more years on a collapsed debt system anyway. Let it collapse. That is the distraction. So how do we take our planet back is the question. You know, keeping this vibration of understanding that you can bend reality now, the vibration's a little faster and groups of people can bend reality at a faster tick. And it's just about standing up as a united planet and just saying no. You don't even have to do anything except saying, no, I will not accept that and I will not partake in your system. And if enough people don't, dead on arrival, they're going to have to do something different. You know, if 75% of the world's population said, no, we're not going to use your Unicoin, your UMU, it wouldn't move forward. It simply wouldn't. It would stop. We'd have to think of a new system. It's just getting people to that point just to say no. That's the most dangerous thing for governments, when people don't participate and just say no. That's your right as a human. Exercise that right. David Dubine signing off. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.